For me, kayak fishing is simple. A boat, a paddle, a fishing rod, and unspoiled water. The fish are big. The chaos is beautiful. It's angling's addictive final frontier, and I'm hooked. I'm Drew Gregory, and this is Hooked on Wild Waters.
Drew Gregory's Hooked on Wild Waters is brought to you by Jackson Kayak. We make fun. GoPro. Be a hero with GoPro. Bending Branches. Pretty, smart paddles. And Yak Attack. Rigging the dream.
This week's episode takes us to my home state of Georgia, where I spent most of my time growing up as a kid. And I'm going to be fishing the wild rivers in Georgia, which hold a rare black bass species called the shoal bass. It's pretty much the only place you can catch them in the entire world, and that's what makes this fish so unique. Their scientific name is actually called Micropterus cataractae, which means fish of the waterfalls. So guess where we're going to be?
That looks like I'm good to go right here. Gotta get wet eventually. What fishing's all about.
But what really makes this trip most special for me is that I get to take the person that actually taught me how to fish, fishing on this beautiful spot, and that would be my dad, Lewis Gregory.
I like where everything's in bloom. Those dogwoods are looking nice.
Cast all in these rapids because, as you know, we have caught striped bass here before too, and they'll be right in those rapids.
When we first got started, Drew and I, well, his brother, Aaron, we all would get out there on the water. I think Drew was about 3 years old. You know, back then we used bobbers. I'd show him how to dig for earthworms, find grubs and bugs. It was pretty exciting. Just actually, sometimes they enjoyed finding the bait more than they did trying to fish.
As we made our way up to the shoals, I looked at the water levels and it looks perfect. You know, you want a lot of water in the shoals because that means more fish can get in there. I look around and sure enough, Dad, right off the bat, hooks up with a fish. And he pulls it up and it's this small crappie. And I was like, hey, that's cool. You know, it's not the fish we were looking for, but that was cool to catch something different. Next thing you know, he hooks up with another fish.
I think it's a nice one.
Yeah, real nice fish.
Coming around the end.
And get him around, there we go, get him on this side.
Gonna make him another turn.
Don't let him get off. There we go, yeah, give him some slack. Don't wind up too far.
Boy, he's barely hooked now. Woo-wee.
That's a way to get started right there.
There you go.
All right, Dad. And it's a nice largemouth. I mean, this thing's like 3 pounds. Nice fish, yeah.
A good fight, too. Caught it in that little side of that little creek there.
Yeah, let's let her go over here.
And off you go.
All right, time to catch some shoal bass now, what we really came here for. One of the things I love about fishing out of a kayak is the fact that sometimes it's just a great tool to get you to spots just like this, where then getting out of the kayak and wading your way up a set of shoals and rapids is the best way to fish it. Oh, fish on! Fish on!
Oh man, that's a good one.
Come on, baby, show yourself. What are you? It's a big shoal bass! It's a big shoal bass!
Been that rod pretty good.
Oh, come on, come on, come on. Wham! I had a nice shoal bass on, and you can imagine why they fight so hard when you can see the environment they live in. They are definitely fish of the waterfalls. Just kind of ease her over here, leave a lot of slack. Come on. Oh, she's going on my legs. Oh, chaos. I think I got her. Woohoo! I got her.
That's what I'm talking about.
Ah! I'm exhausted.
Drew got to looking online one day and he found out there was a bass called a shoal bass here in Georgia. He said, hey, Dad, we got to go for these things. I said, well, I've never heard of it, but let's do it. And so we took off onto the river. The first thing that shocked me about them was how powerful they were. I was just leisurely fishing like I would for a largemouth. And when that thing first time hit, it about knocked the pole out of my hand. I was grabbing the thing and I almost dropped the pole. He thought that was pretty wild. So after that, we were both very alert, had the drag set. We were serious about it from then on.
I mean, this is what we came here for, right here. And the cool thing about this time of the year, it's actually the easiest time to catch the big shoal bass because You know, I hate to say this, ladies, but you know, when you get pregnant, you eat a lot and you can afford it, right? Same way with the bass. They eat a lot right before they spawn, and this girl here is gorging up. Let's let her go. You know, that shoal bass was the 3rd species we'd caught already out of 3 fish. We made our way upstream, closer to the dam, and sure enough, we just start catching fish after fish. Dad and I are having a blast. There's a shoal bass?
Shoal bass.
Good fish. Woo! All right. It's another nice shoal bass, Dad. This is about a 3-pounder. You know, my dad has been with me for my first fish catch all the way to some of my biggest ones. And it's always special to share that with your father, you know. I think back to all the father and son times that we had on the river. Now, I'm always thinking about how cool it is that we're fishing and I'm having a blast. And my dad, the whole time, is imparting all kinds of cool wisdom that he had for me. He did that for me because he cared about me and he loved me. If we can just continue to do that for our young people, I feel like it gets them outside a little bit more, gets them active, and it helps make them a healthier person for our whole society. That's just one thing I want to put an emphasis on. You know, fishing wild waters is for the young, it's for the old, it's for everyone in between.
Oh, got a big one, huh? Fish on. It's a huge trout. I'm afraid it's gonna get loose.
All right, Dad. Nice.
A little teamwork here. My first trout in a river. Look at the size of that thing. Oh my gosh. That's a praise the Lord fish for sure.
That's a praise the Lord fish right there. I was really excited to be able to help my dad catch that trout. You know, we're not expecting to catch these fish. So being able to hoist that fish up with my dad and just celebrate together, it was just a feeling, you know, like I was a kid again when he was always helping me catch those fish. So he deserves it. That's his biggest trout ever. It's just funny. You come to catch shoal bass, and next thing you know, you hook into some shoal bass, but a lot of trout, crappie, largemouth. It's just been a really cool day. After that trout, we just kept casting, caught a few more nice shoal bass, and I started to think about it. You know, all these fish are in here, they're just stacked up, and they're definitely all feeding heavily for the spawn. And that's a good thing, and that's why we're catching so many fish. They're in the pre-spawn mode exactly as we hoped. My dad's kayak was left at the bottom of the shoal, so you know what? It was the end of the day. I thought I'd do my dad a favor and be a good son, walk down, get his kayak for him, but I couldn't help but bring a rod with me. This is a nice spot where a lot of times we'll get bit. Big striped bass. It's worth trying for some striped bass here because they do get in shallow water. I knew they were there. I knew they can't go any further than that mill dam that's right there. They got to be somewhere in these pools. So sure enough, I'm like, let's just make a couple casts. So hug that swim bait over there. Next thing you know, wham! Good fish! Woo-hoo! Woo! Striper. Striped bass got a little closer to me, a little closer, and I saw it really was a monster. I reached down with 2 hands, hoisted it up, and I was like, yes! I'm going down here to get my dad's boat, and I made a few casts with a big trout swim bait because we've been catching trout here today, so I thought if any striped bass are up here, surely they would eat the trout swim bait. And this one definitely did. What a huge 25-pound striped bass. That's the wild stuff that happens on wild waters. What a day, Dad. The results say it all. What a fish.
Drew Gregory's Hooked on Wild Waters has been brought to you by Jackson Kayak. We make fun. GoPro. Be a hero with GoPro. Bending Branches. Pretty, smart paddles. And Yak Attack. Rigging the dream.